All right, folks. We are going live here. I'm trying to get a nice shot for you. All right. We are live in Posco Studios here in Bali, Indonesia. And I'm a little bit off center here. How's that? Better. Uh, Posco Studios in Bali. This is where I am based at the moment, and finishing up my projects in collaboration with Posco. It's a beautiful studio, as you can see in my videos that I've been posting. We're doing some things together, and what can I say? It's an absolutely wonderful place, and sounds brilliant. In fact, we're going to be doing remote recording for different projects from here. So if you are interested in getting drum tracks for your project, we will happily accommodate you. And yeah, it's something we're going to be integrating into the show here very shortly. I mean, right now we're already doing it. The last project I did remotely was for a Brazilian singer, and it was absolutely lovely. And he's since uh, released the project, and it was very nice. So remote recording is a big thing right now for musicians, and we are on top of that game with this absolutely brilliant studio here. So uh, if you need recordings, if you need drums on your tracks, just write me here on YouTube, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I just want to say hi to everybody, and also to talk a little bit about my philosophy, my philosophy about why I like to work this way. Now, I'm trying to get everybody. Okay, you can. We are live, so you can chat with me here on the channel. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have and to chat. And of course, I welcome all super thanks and any kind of stuff like that. If you have any question about drumming, I'll be glad to answer. And yeah, like that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my philosophy and why I like to do things like this, right? As again, I talked about this in another video, but just to touch on it again, let me see if I can get a slightly better angle for you guys there. Um, the reason I like to do things outside the USA is, first of all, I love to travel. I love to meet new people. I love to be in different cultures, absorbing the drumming of different cultures. I mean, that's kind of my thing. It's kind of my bag. So um, I I think that every time you learn something new about drumming, it just adds to your value as a player. Now, I've said many times that in order to be a great drummer, there's only so far you can get by working on things that are, let's say, pushed by the drumming industry. Speed, especially, is such a gigantic waste of time. Um, rudiments, after you get things down, how many times can you play a paradiddle in the way that you know it, right? You have to be able to adapt it in different ways, in different styles of music, and different rhythmic grids and stuff like that. So what happens is eventually you have to become like an ethnomusicologist to be able to expand your drumming. You're never going to expand your drumming if you stay playing one thing for the rest of your life. Okay, and now that doesn't mean you have to play uh, jazz or rock fusion or prog rock or Latin. I mean, it just means you have to expand yourself as a human being and expand your knowledge of styles, because you don't necessarily have to do like a real authentic Brazilian gig to absorb that type of drumming. It's the same thing in Afro-Cuban or anything else, right? You can be around that culture and let the music feed you its vocabulary, its vibe. And then when you go to do the things that you did before, you'll have like a new lease on them, right? A new way of looking at it. And that's gold. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to always be expanding, because what that does is it adds to your value as a player. Okay? How are you going to add value to your music, to yourself as a player? You don't do it by getting faster. Okay? Faster is nowhere. Nobody cares in the music industry or among, players, real players, how fast you can go. If you can play 300 BPM singles, nobody cares. There's all these guys out there pushing speed and how to get faster speed. Man, that's just shysterville. Okay, people do that for views or for whatever reason they have, you know, and I think it really hurts, especially younger players in the drumming community, because they think that's what they have to do in order to get recognition. You know, it makes me super sad to see people going through that, because it's such a gargantuan waste of time and life. We only have so much time on this earth, and drumming takes such a big part of your life to get it together, to be able to express yourself and on a deep level. Even if you're good as a kid, it never ends. Okay, you might be good at one thing, but drumming is so expansive. How are you gonna have the time to expand on all the things necessary to be in a position where drumming is a great contributor to your life? Drumming can be an asset or a liability. A liability is when it doesn't give back to you. It just takes, and you try to, put your energy into things that just suck up your life force and return nothing. Okay? That is really a sad situation, and I blame, more than players, I blame teachers and people that are out there trying to teach stuff on YouTube that have no business doing that at all. I get a lot of comments like, hey man, how come nobody ever showed me the 3-bar cycle before? Something as elemental to drumming as the 3-bar cycle is completely unknown, I would say, to 90% of players in the States, in the UK, even in some parts of South America, where they use Western music to express themselves. They like push aside their native music in order to whatever become famous or become commercially viable. It's really bizarre to me why anybody would do that. Which is just the same kind of in the States. I mean, we push aside jazz. The most beautiful music to come out of the United States are music, jazz, and people push it aside. I don't know what to say about those things, because it's like you're doing damage to your own career by indulging into the things that are popular in culture, let's say. It's not even culture, it's like commercial mishmash of capitalism and music. And that's really nowheresville if you want to be a serious player. I mean, if you want to make drumming your career, it's really taking a big chance and, leaving it up to luck whether you're going to make a living or not. The way traditionally people make a living is by knowing a great variety of styles and being able to function. If you have a pop gig, you do the pop gig. If you have a jazz gig, you do the jazz. If you have a Latin or a show, or whatever, a bar mitzvah, you have to play Persian music. You have to play Caribbean music. You have a reggae gig, and of course, yes, I know what you guys are thinking. Those times are kind of gone. Where there was gigs every day and you get to play different styles all the time. Those days are kind of gone, but not all around the world, okay? In the West. And also, what happens is that all this knowledge, this expertise, makes you have your unique voice in drumming. And eventually that is what you monetize, not your ability to play singles at 300 BPM or 500 or whatever. I mean, if you look at every top player, they could do a lot of things, right? But it's eventually their voice, whatever is special about them, that sells them. I mean, look at a guy like Keith Carlock, right? Great player, one of my favorite. Look at Bill Stewart. I mean, his voice in jazz is so, you can tell a mile away that it's Bill. My buddy Cliff Almond is another great drummer. He knows so many styles and can do so many things, but they hire him for being Cliff Almond, right? I mean, I'm a little bit baffled as to how people approach their career these days, and especially pros. Now, if you're an amateur, player, that's one thing. Remember, amateur means someone who does it for the love of what they're doing. Ama, love, tour means doer. Doer for the love of the craft, whatever it is they're doing. So in reality, we all want to be amateurs in that sense, in the sense of we do it because we love to do it. A pro is a different thing. Professionalism entails different things. It's not about doing it for the love of music or drumming. So anyway, I'm a little bit baffled as to how people, handle what they learn and what they input into their bodies as players. It's a little bit bizarre to me. Of course, we have lost the tradition of being under someone's wing. Back in the days, there's a great movie that you should all watch called Young Man with a Horn. And it's about a, trumpet player. I won't say too much, you give the movie away. And it portrays the journey of a trumpet player learning the instrument, and he becomes a protege of another player, an older player, and he takes him under his wing and shows him everything there is to know about being a trumpet player. Now, the same thing happens in India. The same thing happens a lot in Africa, and maybe even in Cuba and Brazil, not so much. There's this big Western influence over there. So we are not having this culture of apprenticeship anymore, which is the results. What are the results? Everybody sounds the same because they learn the same licks off whoever, and originality, versatility, and really being able to play for real is sacrificed to this end, So it's really a bummer. I don't know what's going on with the lighting here. I hope that doesn't bug you guys too much. But anyway, now that's the reason I love to do the things that I do in this way, by traveling and exploring different parts of the world. Not only am I meeting other players and, of course, enjoying my life, because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy your life, what are you doing? There's a very limited time we have here, and you have to enjoy it. Drums require a great sacrifice, and if you're not enjoying the process of this, let's say, sacrifice, then what's the point? what's the point, you know? By traveling and investing my time like this, I add value to myself because I expand as a human being, and most of all, I expand my drumming, which is the most important thing in life to me, right? Uh, Being able to have this instrument in your life is a privilege, is a blessing, is something that a lot of people in this world wish they had. They, you know, sometimes I look at these podcaster guys, which who know nothing at all about music, and they're like all saying the same type of thing. Man, if I was a musician, I'd be this and that, or I'd be doing this and that. Wow, you know, it's still the dream of millions to be a musician. We in the trenches, we know already, you know, what it's like. We know the reality of it. And when you're confronted with that reality, you have to make a choice. You know, you either go the traditional route, which is, you know, go to university, try to meet people, go to jam sessions, play, and hope that your career, you know, has legs and it takes off. And you know, that doesn't work out for a great majority of players for whatever reason. Even they're great players, still don't have a lot of, let's say, weight among the musicians in the community. Um, and not because of their playing, you know. A lot of times things are vibey and clicky, and one guy becomes flavor of the month, and because he knows this guy and this other guy, you know, he gets a lot of gigs. So, you know, there's all these factors involved that I refuse to take part in. I refuse to let that stuff control my musical life. I refuse to wait around for some guy to call me to play. I'm doing my thing because I love music, I love to travel, and I love to learn. And that's what I based that's what I base my career off of, right? There are many people that enjoy the music that I put out, and that gives me great satisfaction because it comes from a very pure place, not motivated by any type of, let's say, oh man, for lack of a better word, fakery, or being the flavor of the month, or trying to be cool, or trying to be this or that. I do what I feel, you know, in front of me, and that's, I think, a good place to be. Okay, a very important place to be in your career. So, with that in mind, I'm just gonna keep recording here. I'm working on new songs, and I hope you've enjoyed this little chat. I hope to do more of these from here in Bali. And yeah, hopefully next time some people will join us on the chat. One of the issues we're having, I know, is that time difference. In the States, it's probably like 12 midnight or 2 in the morning. I'm not exactly sure. So a lot of my cats on the channel are in the States, and they're not in the same time zone. So anyway, I'm going to post this, and hopefully you'll make some comments, and see you on the lesson site. Remember, only $200 a year gets you into the full year time program, full year program, and we're having a blast on the lesson site. Cats from all over the world are there. So yeah, join us there, BillMascherano.com. Peace.